Okay.
So we're still working on that intro, eh, Rob?
Yeah, we need music probably.
Yeah, that's so music is the first step to.
Do you have some suggestions for a little melody that you can pitch right now?
Do 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 wiki. It's really early.
Yeah, this is a morning recording. We don't usually do this,
I'm losing my mind already.
but we want to get this out today. Yeah. So okay, we'll
anything
work on
that's
that.
not what I just did would be.
We'll
a
work
good
on that.
intro.
Ba 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 da 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 da.
You can't see it, but I just whipped, and I was really into that.
Underrated intro song. How I Met Your Mother.
Isn't it? Anyways, I'm Kaitlyn Alexander.
I'm Rob Moden.
And we're your hosts of How to Not, a podcast where we read WikiHow articles and then teach you, and as we learn how to be normal humans.
Yeah, this morning it'll be interrupted by mini coffee sip.
Yes.
I got it from the corner store.
I made myself a nice chamomile tea, and I'm feeling happy about it.
Are you? Because it's not coming through.
I don't think there's caffeine in it. So,
okay.
my mind is sage, but my body is also like, can you please pump about 80 billion coffees into me?
That's fair.
Do you want to know what the article we're doing today
Yeah,
is?
sure. So we read an article every week, and it's a very serious article about how to do something that everybody really needs to know how to do, and then we just comment on it and try to add to it with our own expertise.
Yeah, and I kind of spring it on Rob like a nice surprise attack, so he really never knows what I'm going to do.
Let's pull back the curtain. You do give me a heads up.
The title.
A title at least, and usually a link if I sometimes, and then I don't read it because I'm a bad person.
I was trying to save your face there, but
No.
All right.
That's fine.
This week's article, drumroll please. Great, excellent. WikiHow to pretend to have ice powers for girls.
I'm very upset about the last part.
It says in brackets for girls, so if
Look,
you're a boy...
we'll take this for... I'm going to assume that until... I haven't read the article. So until we get to a point, otherwise, I'm going to assume that it's gender neutral.
I agree.
I'm going to try and translate everything into the boy version.
I agree. Perfect.
Okay.
The opening, the description of what this article is going to do says... Ice powers are a fictional superpower where the person who possesses them can control snow and ice. By crafting an icy appearance, engaging in icy activities, and convincing others of your ice powers, you can pretend to have ice powers and impress your friends.
Taking part in icy activities just sounds like
being a cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah, like high school rumor mongering, gossip. Actually, when you think of ice powers, what's the first character that comes to your mind
Elsa
in pop culture?
from
Okay, that's what I thought. It was between that and Iceman from the X-Men for me.
Yeah, true.
Not because I'm particularly attached to Iceman or the X-Men.
I mean, who is?
Almost, actually some people.
Yeah.
Not me.
Not me.
Okay. But maybe just because I'm a big, and who isn't, a big Shawn Ashmore fan.
Oh, man, I love me some Shawn Ashmore.
Love the Iceman.
What a man.
What an Iceman.
What a nice... Maybe
What an
he
Iceman.
followed these steps to get into character.
Iceman the Niceman.
Method 1 is creating an icy appearance. Wear blue and white clothes. To convince people of your ice powers, your look should bring winter to mind. Wear clothes in shades of blue, white, and silver for an icy appearance. Snowy patterns like prints of snowmen and icicles are good.
Who made the rule that blue, white,
means ice,
silver, these are all cold ice colors? Because if we go back to Frozen, your beloved masterpiece, that is the color palette of the movie.
It's very true, and I never thought about it before. I never thought of blue as being an icy color, but... Apparently.
If we went back in history, what's the dividing point where it's just like fire? Red, it's hot. Blue, ice, cold. Because water can be hot as well, but water is associated with blue. It's very confusing.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I guess one day way back when, when they were doing fire safety, somebody was like, if it's red, run. It means it's hot. And if it's blue, you're fine. Except
no,
blue
is even hotter.
Shit.
See? No, there was a meeting at some point where it's just a bunch of artists saying, guys, we have to figure out what each color notes in terms of temperature.
Yeah. And somebody was like, blue is cold?
And everyone's like, yeah, okay.
They're like,
I guess so.
makes sense,
I guess
makes
so.
sense.
What's purple? Get the fuck out.
And they were like, we don't know what purple is yet. Just
It's that weird moment when the sun's coming up or down, and there's an orange and purple in the sky, and people aren't sure if it's warm or cold yet.
Exactly.
They just look out the window and they're like, that looks nice.
They're like, great, perfect. Number 2 is put streaks of blue and white in your hair. Give yourself an ice-kissed look by putting real or faux winter colors in your hair. A temporary hair powder that you can brush on your hair like eyeshadow and then wash out is a good choice. Experiment with shades of blue, white, and silver for a cool look.
Ice.
Does this person think that as long as you look like you're cold, you're like giving off this vibe that you have icy powers?
I think that's 90% of it. It's so let's imagine.
Yeah.
It's a regular day.
Yeah.
You come through the door, Kaitlyn.
Yep.
You are blue. You are.
I have hypothermia.
You have streaks through your hair. You are. You regularly look like you're
just like
don't have much blood running through your system. You're cold blooded all of a sudden. And my assumption, of course, is not that you have hypothermia, but that you have
ice powers,
superpowers.
But okay, I would just be like, do you need medical attention? Excellent. The next one, you know how well this contributes?
Here we go.
Wear accessories with snowflake patterns in case the colors weren't enough.
Yeah.
To give yourself a snowy appearance, opt for necklaces, bracelets, rings, or earrings with snowflakes or icicle patterns. You can also choose scarves woven with metallic thread for shimmery, icy exterior.
Can I tell you what this reminds me of?
What does it remind you
This is a
of?
memory that I have.
Oh, no.
I really think back to a lot, and I'm not sure why.
Okay. I'm scared.
So around 7th grade,
Yeah.
the first Spider-Man movie had come out.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason in our drama class, which happened like twice a week, and this was, grade 7, grade 8, something like that, we were asked to act out our favorite superheroes.
Oh, God.
And then other people, like everybody in the class had to do it and run around the gym.
Yeah.
This seems like more of a 6-year-old thing, but no, we were grade 7 or 8, and we run around the gym and act out the superpowers, and then people would have to guess what the superhero was.
Oh my God.
As an exercise. And so I ran around, and like I was really into Spiderman, and I was kind of doing the arms and stuff, and like I guess kind of prancing is how it came across.
That's one.
But I was more just saying to people, "I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man." And then somebody was asked, "Hey, what was Rob's superhero?" And they said Spider-Man.
Oh.
And the teacher's like, "So how could you tell that he was Spider-Man?" And the person said, "He just kind of kept on saying, 'I'm Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man.'" Now, I'm feeling a real parallel here with this person who is trying to get across, I have ice powers. I have ice powers. I have ice powers.
Holy shit.
That's all I can think of when you walk around and you're like, "Hey guys, no big deal. I'm blue, and I've spent $50 on snowflake themed earrings, cufflinks."
Everyone just like goes all out, and once you've done that, your second job is to convince people of your ice powers. So you have to talk about the cold doesn't bother you. People with ice powers are impervious to feeling pain normal people feel when touching ice and snow. Talk a lot about how snow and ice have no effect on you. If people are bundling up for a cold day, you could say, "I feel most at home in the snow," or "The cold has never bothered me."
Was this written before or after Frozen?
I don't know.
The cold never bothered me anyway. Okay. So there's
a lot going on here.
How do you work that into conversation?
It's like somebody comes inside. Let's assume like you're a high school student, because like only a high school student would choose this. "Hi, I'm a regular high school student. I just came in from the outside and I didn't even need a jacket because it's not that cold."
Okay, I didn't ask you at all about what I'm cold. Good to know that it's kind of warm outside.
I don't feel cold at all. I like.
Well, none of us
ice.
feel cold. We're in California. It's a pretty warm climate. I'm gonna go to history. Are you going to history, or are you just kind of gonna stand here and tell people about.
I'm just gonna pick up some ice cubes and just hold them for a bit.
Why did you have ice cubes in your pocket? You just pulled out those ice cubes.
Because I make ice. Because I have ice superpowers.
We don't know each other that well.
No.
So I'm gonna call a mulligan on this conversation. Gonna back out now, head to history.
Oh my god.
Please dispose of those ice cubes somewhere that's safe. Don't throw them on the ground because again, we're in California. I'm not sure anybody's really used to there being ice on the ground. Could be really dangerous.
And that was Masterpiece Theater with Rob and Kaitlyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that working in any climate that's not cold, first of all. So you have to be north.
I mean, even us here in Toronto, it's only cold half the year. If you tried to pull off this conversation right now, it would be weird.
Everybody would be like, are you on drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which.
Oh, no.
Dip your hands in cold water and then touch a friend. To make people...
Is that the end of the paragraph?
No.
Okay.
I just lost it.
Okay.
To make people think you have ice powers,
yeah.
Run your hand under very cold water or dip your hands in a bowl of ice for no more than 20 seconds. Then dry your hands and touch a friend's bare skin. If they recoil or comment on how cold you are, act as if you don't notice. You could say, really? I guess my ice powers are strong today.
Kaitlyn, I'm just trying to read about the War of 1812, and you keep touching my face.
God.
You keep touching my face.
First of all, who touches somebody's bare skin with ice hands?
Kaitlyn, the bathroom is right next door. We heard you go in, turn on the tap, run the water, splash your hands around in there. And then here's the thing. You seem to be going through this ice power phase thing, and then you used the air blower to dry your hands, and that just warms up your hands.
Actually, fair point.
Why would you do that, Kaitlyn?
I don't know. I'm making all kinds of decisions, but I find flaws in this, mainly having to have water available for you constantly to make your hands cold again. There's a flaw in this.
Also, we haven't touched on this in a while. None of this is gender specific at this point.
No, there's absolutely no reason it has to be a girls only guide.
No. I would be okay with that because it would limit the weirdness to only half the population so far. Versus
but this definitely could be for anyone. This is my favorite part of this tutorial. Glance at your hands wistfully when people mention ice or snow. When people talk about ice or snow, glance at your hands as if they are the source. You can even sigh for effect to draw attention to what you're doing. If they comment on a snowy day, for example, you could say, sometimes I just don't know my own power. Who wrote this? Are they okay?
In this narrative that you are building as someone who pretends to have ice powers.
Yeah.
Every snowy or cold day
is your
fault. Even though I think we've already acknowledged through the suggested dialogue, suggested by this article, that your power levels vary, and it hasn't necessarily always been this strong. So unless we are having record-breaking cold plunges.
Yeah, what if you just go through a season where there's absolutely no snow? Did you just lose your powers? You got to keep up the illusion.
Unless it supposes. Well, first of all, is it supposing that your powers only come during the winter? Because in the summer you're just weak.
In the sun just takes away your power.
Who would be your supervillain? Because they could just strike during the summer when you're at your most vulnerable.
Anyone, someone's dog.
The hair blower.
The hair blower, yeah.
A dog, someone with a real thick urine stream. But it's somebody supposing you're supposing that, okay, so is it just you? Is there somebody in every city who's just also, is it every...
Are you responsible for the world's ice problems?
Or just your cities? Then that's a two-pronged sword, which is not the metaphor.
It's a two-pronged sword.
It's a two-pronged sword, where every school snow day, you're like, thank you. Thanks, Kaitlyn. Thank
I
you.
mean, that would be great.
On the other hand, every time it's not a snow day, you're like,
Kaitlyn,
fuck, Kaitlyn.
come on.
Can you a little bit more work?
Yeah,
Tiny bit.
this is like that's a struggle.
It's a lot of responsibility, like any hero.
And the last step of convincing people of your ice powers is to tell people about upcoming winter weather patterns. Keep an eye on upcoming cold weather days. When people talk about the weather, imply that you may have a hand in upcoming wintry storms. You could say, I'm making it it's supposed to snow on Tuesday. Or, I'm bringing ice... there's going to be ice storms this weekend.
In this article, is it like every interrupted sentence is like little two hyphens or
There's one
dot,
hyphen and then
ellipses?
And ellipses.
Okay. What was the name of this article?
3 ways to pretend to have ice powers for girls.
Okay, it was okay. 3 ways to pretend, not to convince.
No.
Not how to convince somebody.
That was convincing. That was the last step in convincing. Because I would be convinced of ice powers if somebody just happened to watch the news more frequently than I did and was able to tell me what the weather was. I wouldn't assume they have an app on their phone or anything.
What I'm saying is that from my point of view, I think the author of this article realistically assessed their own article and decided not to name it how to convince people, but just how to go about your own business pretending.
100%.
And if other people buy into it, then
Good
cherry
job.
on top.
Yeah.
Good job. Why can't boys have ice powers?
Boys can't have ice powers because...
Iceman. The Iceman. The Iceman had ice powers.
I mean, ice powers are universal, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a problematic part of this article.
We strictly condemn the gender specificity
of this article.
Which is actually nothing. There's no gender specificity except outside of the headline.
Yeah, there's no reason. Mm-hmm. And any boys who wanted to learn how to pretend to have ice powers, you were welcome to.
Oh wait, what's your step 4? Have a vagina. Oh well. Oh shit. Oh, okay, but even then, that's sex specific. That's not gender. Yeah. God,
come on, get it together. Okay, this is apparently their last way they think that you can convince people that you have ice powers is by engaging in icy activities. Go on. Engage in winter sports to become really in touch with ice and snow.
Oh man, did you hear? Okay, did you hear? There's a rumor going around.
Okay.
You know Shaun White?
Yeah.
Ice powers. Because I saw him on a snowboard. But no, dude. Oh, he's a boy. Oh shit.
Dude, no, he's just a snowboarder. Right?
Oh shit.
Oh.
Also, his hair is red, and that can't be associated with color.
He needs to dye it blue. If people comment on how often you do winter activities, you could say, I only feel comfortable around the snow. These suggested phrases are my favorite part of this article.
Mm-hmm. Nobody will talk to you by this point, because every time somebody tries to talk to you, try to have a conversation with me right now.
About, okay.
Anything.
So I'm really, what are you drinking right now?
It's an iced coffee.
Right. Do you ever drink hot coffee?
I can't, because every time I touch it, it turns cold.
Great. Solid. What are you
Keep talking to me
for today?
I'm just gonna go outside. There might be a strong breeze that rolls in when I do step outside. That would be surprising. Wink.
Oh,
keep talking to me, and by that point you're just like, no,
I'm terrified. I'm gone.
Right?
I'm out. There's no way.
Well, it keeps on suggesting all this dialogue that you can slip into conversations. Nobody's gonna have conversations with you anymore.
No, everybody's literally gonna walk away from me if you do this. And then it says to watch movies where people have ice powers.
Just for ideas or for entertainment, or because nobody will talk to you anymore, so you need something to spend your time on.
Watching movies where people have ice powers will give you ideas about how people with real ice powers act. Make a list of things they do
let's stop for a second. The use of the word real.
As in
just
in
noting
a movie.
it. Just noting it. Keep going.
Make a list of things they do to illustrate their powers so you can copy them. And then it lists
one flaw. In the movies, the people who have ice powers have ice powers.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for things to imitate them on, when you lift your hand and no burst of
ice
or snow comes out of it. Are they just suggesting you just like
hope?
I don't know. Are you just imitating Frozone and you're just like, honey, where's my super suit? And it's like, you don't have a boyfriend. Nobody will talk to you.
You're just like yelling in your apartment alone.
Honey, where's my super suit?
And your cat just like meows back at you.
Your mom's like, shut up.
Yeah.
100%. Shut up. It's called your shirt. And you've written IG on it because you're saying I'm Ice Girl everywhere you go. That's your super suit. You can wear it. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god. That's it for the article, just so you know.
Okay.
There's like that's your
Kaitlyn, are there any community questions this week?
There are none. Nobody wanted to touch it. So my community question is gonna be, why the fuck would you do this?
All right. So So it's a hard question. I wasn't expecting it. Some people out there, and it's valid. You want to feel special. We live in a culture right now that is very based around superheroes, based around individual achievement, to the point where a lot of, let's not get political, but a lot of social-based programs where we help each other out are hard to get off the ground in at least North American society, because everyone has been trained on individual exceptionalism.
Yeah.
If you are born without ice powers and you really feel that you need some sort of thing to set you apart, it's not the worst way to go about trying to be unique. That's all I got.
I mean, that's a better answer than we usually find in WikiHow articles, so I think we've done the world a service today.
Is the long arc of this podcast that by the end we will have written one WikiHow article?
Yeah, pretty much.
About how to do a podcast?
Yeah.
There we go.
So
that's our arc. Also, so hold on, are we going to do our usual community question?
Oh, yeah. Rob, what happens if I shit my pants while demonstrating my ice powers?
Okay, so immediately you're going to have to prove to people that your shit is cold.
Oh my god!
Because if not, that blows the entire thing. So you're gonna have to walk around.
Holy shit!
Even in our masterpiece theater earlier, you were carrying around ice cubes in your pocket.
Yes.
Kaitlyn, you're going to have to carry around a frozen turd.
Oh my god!
Because people are going to hear it.
Yeah.
They're going to smell it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to pull out that frozen turd
and be like, "See, rock hard."
Mm-hmm.
I think there's no better way to end this podcast.
I just like just that of all the creepy dialogue that has been suggested, all you're gonna hear is the image that you're leaving in the listener's mind is somebody holding up their hand trying to shoot ice powers out. Instead you hear and then
they
pull out a turd
and pull out
rock hard.
100%.
Yep.
And that's it.
Why are we doing this?
Because people are listening for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of How to Not.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
And
so right now, we should say we're trying to aim for Friday episodes.
Yep.
We're trying. Yeah. We'll probably try and bank a bunch, and then we'll be able to cut episodes that aren't great.
Yes, we're gonna be doing that.
Which was very useful when we were testing the show, and now we should probably adapt that into the actual show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, our handle is @HowToNotShow. You can tweet at us suggestions for funny articles that you have found, and we will maybe include them in an episode and shout you out for giving us the article for that episode. So we'll maybe do that.
Mm-hmm.
And have a good week and survive out there.
Can you do some outro music?
So
much better than I thought it would be. Awesome.